Hi guys, Miss Hawes here. I'm going to walk you guys through the lesson on percent change. Please make sure that you complete these 3 assignments before you actually move through the PowerPoint. Remember, they're all posted on Schoology and they're also posted on Google Classroom if you're having trouble accessing Schoology. So, today's lesson is 5-6% change. So what you guys are going to be able to do after today is find percents of increase and percents of decrease. Remember guys, you can pause this video whenever you need to if I am going too fast for you guys. So what is percent change? A percent of change is the ratio of the amount of change to the original amount. So you're taking the amount of change over the original amount, and that could be of an item or of anything really. And remember guys, a ratio is simply just a fraction. Okay, so we learned about that earlier, that a ratio is a fraction. So there's 2 different types of percent changes that we can have. So the first one is when the original amount is going up, it's called a percent increase. And you guys can think of this as a markup. Now remember guys, when we did markup, we were simply just adding that amount. Now, it's going to be a little different with percent change, but if it helps you to remember that a percent increase can also be known as a markup. And then when the original amount goes down, it's called a percent decrease. And we had them before in terms of discounts, and we were subtracting before. Okay, so there's 2 types. You have the percent increase, and you have percent decrease. They're the 2 main things to remember. Amount goes up, it's an increase. Amount goes down, it's a decrease. So finding the amount of change, what you guys want to do is you want to take the new price minus the old price. So jotting it down for us, we want to do new minus old. Okay, that's a really good way of remembering how to do this, is you want to take your new price minus the old price. And then the price you're paying minus the price it should be selling for. That's another way of doing it. It's the price you're paying minus the price it should sell for. So let's just look at this first example. We're going to walk through it together. Like with any word problem, the one thing that we should always do is underline the important parts. So remember guys, I do have the note sheet posted for you guys if you want to follow along with it to fill in this as well. So Beth bought a $75 pair of jeans for $60. Find the percent of change and classify it as a percent increase or decrease. So there's 2 things that we're going to have to do here. The first thing is find the percent change. Oh, spelled that wrong. All right. So first thing is find percent change, and then the second thing is we need to classify as increase or decrease. Okay, so there are the few things that we have to do. So let's just underline the important parts. So she bought a 75 pair of jeans for $60. So using our formula of, you have percent change is new minus old over the original, which you guys can also think of as the old price. And we're going to solve that now. So the new price, that's also the price that you're paying. So Beth is going to pay $60 for her jeans. So I'm going to fill in 60 minus the old price. So the old price of the jeans, which was what they were originally selling for, was $75, all over the original price. So the original amount, which is going to be $75. So we're just going to simplify this expression. So 60 minus 75 is negative 15 over 75. Now, if you divide that using your calculator, you're going to get negative 2/10. So now there's a few things we need to discuss. So it's negative 2/10, which I need to write as a percentage. So remember, and I'm going to rewrite it negative, and I'm just going to put another 0. If I'm trying to convert this to a percentage, you need to make sure that you move the decimal point 2 spaces to the right. So really, as a percentage now, that's like negative 20%. Now, have you ever seen negative 20%? I don't think so. So that means now, since it has this negative value, do you think it's going to be an increase or a decrease? If you said decrease, you are 100% correct. So this, and we're going to drop the negative now because we're just going to write this as a 20% decrease. So it's important when you're doing these problems that you underline the important parts. You write the formula for yourself, so new minus old over original or old, whatever you want to use. You plug in your values that you have from your problem. You simplify and then you solve. Then once you solve, it's important to also make sure you look at the parts that you have, so a negative sign or if it's a positive value, and then you take your percentage and you identify as increase or decrease. So in this case, we had a 20% decrease. All right, let's jump down to another one. So the directions say find the percent of change and classify as a percent increase or decrease, round to the nearest tenth of a percent when necessary. So John went from weighing 140 pounds to 155. So highlighting the important parts, 140 to 155. So writing our formula is I have new minus old all over old. So plugging in. So John went from weighing 140 to 155. That means what amount is going to be his new weight? If you said 155, you're correct. He's gaining that quarantine 15. And then his old weight was 140 all over his old weight, which again is 140. Now, simplifying, 155 minus 140 gives me 15 over 140. Simplifying this even further now, and you have to round to the nearest tenth. So if you take just 15 divided by 140, you get about 0.1071. So rounding to the nearest tenth, what I'm going to do is, remember, you gotta move 2 spaces, so 1, 2. And now as a percentage, you have 10.71. Nearest tenth is 1 space. So that 1 isn't going to shove it at all. So this means now that's equal to 10.7%. And then increase or decrease, well, your value here was positive. So that means you have an increase. So during quarantine, John has a 10.7% increase in his weight. Alright, let's look at the next one. So number 3 on the note sheet. So last year the debate team had 25 members. This year the club has 18 members. So I'm going to highlight. So last year, 25 members. This year, 18 members. So in this case, you have new minus old all over old. So think about it. If you have last year and then you have this year, which one's going to be the new? Which one's going to be the old? Well, last year is going to end up being old, meaning this year is new. So we're going to fill in. So I have 18 minus the old, which is 25, all over old, which is 25. automatically you guys should be noticing if I have 18 minus 25, you're going to have a negative value. So it's going to be negative 7 over 25. Now, again, solving this, you get negative 0 and 28 hundredths. So answering the question and rounding to the nearest tenth of a percent and identifying if it's percent increase or decrease, negative value tells you automatically it has to be a percent decrease. Very good. So this would become, moving the decimal point 2 spaces, 28% decrease. All right, here we go. Number 5, Ian worked 25 hours at the grocery store last week and 36 hours this week. Clearly, they've been busy with coronavirus. All right, underline the important parts. So 25 hours last week, 36 this week. So writing our formula, new minus old, all over old. So new, it's a new week. So he has 36 for that new week. Old, so that was last week. 25 all over 25. So now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify. So 36 minus 25 gives us 11 over 25. Right now you guys should notice that you have two positive values. So that's going to tell us what? Percent increase or percent decrease since it's positive. If you said increase, you're correct. So now finish simplifying this. 11 divided by 25 on your calculator is going to be about 0 and 44 hundredths. So now we're just going to convert to a decimal, or a percentage, I mean. So move the decimal point 2 spaces. So you get 44%, and it's going to be an increase. And that's our final answer. So number 7, the store employee changed an $8 price sticker to $2.50 and placed it on the sale shelf. So highlight the important parts. So you have an $8 price sticker, and I'm going to underline the word changed because they're changing it to $2.50, and I'm going to underline the word sale. That just tells you what's going on here. So your formula, new minus old, all over old. So think about this. If we're taking an $8 sticker and then changing it to $2.50, which one is going to be my new and which one is going to be my old? So pause the video right now and think about it for yourself. If you said that the $8 is going to be the old, you are correct, and then the $2.50 is going to be the new. So filling in, you have $2.50 minus 8 all over 8. So simplifying now, you get negative 5.5 all over 8. And then when you divide that, you get a negative 0.6875. Again, you have this negative value here, so that's going to tell us what? Percent increase or percent decrease? Good. If you said decrease, that's what it's going to be. So converting to a percentage now, 2 spaces to the right, you now have negative 68.75%. However, if you pay close attention to the directions, it says round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So what is this 5 going to do to my 7? Well, if you said it's going to round it, you are correct. So this really is going to become negative 68.8%. And then now you also have to identify percent change or percent increase or percent decrease. You told me decrease, so I'm going to get rid of the negative sign and just write a 68.8% decrease. And there you go. There's your final answer. Alright, looking at number 9. Now, if you feel like you don't need me to walk you through it anymore, you can work through the problems, but I am going to continue on for some of us that need it. So the total rainfall was 14.5 inches in 2014 and 8.9 inches in 2015. So the total rainfall in 2014 is 14.5, and then 8 and 9 hundredths in 2015. So new minus old all over old. So the new amount, so that would be the most recent, is going to be the 8.9 minus the old, which is 14.5, all over 14.5. Simplifying your expression now, 8.9 minus 14.5 on the calculator is negative 5 6/10, all over 14.5. Again, the negative is going to tell me I'm going to have a percent decrease. So now when you solve this on your calculator, you get it to be about negative 0.386. Converting that to a percentage now, it's going to be 38.6%, and the negative tells me decrease. All right, next example. Mr. Whalen's math class. Aaron earned an 88 in the first quarter and a 94 in the second. So you have an 88 in the first quarter, 94 in the second. So new minus old all over old. Well, the newest marking period, so the newest quarter, she earned 94 minus the old, so that would be the first quarter, 88, all over old, which is 88. Simplifying, you get 6 over 88, which is going to be equal to 0.0681 with the 81 repeated. So we're still going to have to convert this to a percentage. So move it twice, 1, 2. So your decimal point is going to go there now. So this really is going to become 6.81. Rounding to the nearest tenth, though, now is just going to be 6.8%. And positive value, so it's increase. Okay, last example before I set you guys free. So the florist sold 800 roses last year on Valentine's Day. This year they sold 638 roses. So underlining the important parts, 800 roses last year, and then this year, 638. So new minus old, all divided by old, equals. So the new would have to be for this year, so that's the new amount that they're selling, minus the old, which would be last year, so 800, all over the old, which is 800. So 638 minus 800 is negative 162 divided by 800. Again, negative is going to tell us that it's going to be a percent decrease. So plugging that in your calculator now, you're going to get negative 0.2025. So then converting to a percentage, 1, 2. So now that's going to become 20.25%. However, remember the directions say round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So I need it to one space. So the 5 is going to take my 2 and it's going to give it a shove. So remember, 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, let it go. So this becomes 20.3%. And since it's positive, it's going to be it's negative. I dropped to my negative. Make sure you don't do that. Don't do what Miss Hawes does. So since it's negative, now you're going to have a 20.3% decrease. Look, even remotely, I still make mistakes for you guys. Alright, so now what I'm going to ask that you guys do is you guys try 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Pause this video right now, and then when you guys hit play, I will have the video or the answers to the U-Tries for you guys to check your work with. So pause the video right now and give those problems a shot. Okay, so here are all the answers to the U-Try problems. Luckily for you guys, they all ended up being an increase. If any of you got any of those wrong, just a reminder that there will be office hours tomorrow that I will be holding, and Miss Luby will also be holding office hours. So check Schoology to see what time those office hours are going to take place, and we'll be happy to go through any of the problems that you are struggling with. You can also send me a message if there was one in particular that you don't understand, and I'll be happy to go over it with you. But now what I'm going to ask that you guys do is that you complete the percent change worksheet, evens on both sides. Try to have that done by 4 p.m. on Tuesday. So this stuff you were assigned today. So Tuesday 4/7, have them done by 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Next week, I'm going to give you guys a quiz on simple interest and percent change. So you guys have enough time over spring break to look over those skills, refresh your memory, look back at some of the videos that we've done. Come to office hours tomorrow. But remember, all of the assignments that you have that are to do today. So you have to answer the discussion post from the start. You have to do the car buying simple interest activity. And then you're going to go through this PowerPoint, which you just did if you're listening right now. And then you have to do the percent change worksheet, okay? All of it's on Schoology. Again, guys, I did upload everything onto Google Classroom just in case if Schoology was down for you guys to work with also. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Hope you guys are all staying safe.